Mary, welcome to your Love Fix coaching session. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you very much. Thanks for the
Cool.
time.
Thank,
Really,
thank you. I appreciate you sharing your story today. I think hopefully um, the audience and people listening will get a lot out of this today. So thank you very much for that. Okay, Mary, obviously you're here because you've just gone through a nasty breakup. So I will do my best to help you. Okay, I'm gonna hand everything over to you now. So for the first half of the conversation, I just want you to tell me your story. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna take a few notes. I may ask a few questions. But apart from that, the floor is yours. And once you've done your part, we'll get into the coaching part and hopefully we can find a solution for you, get you feeling better, and get you on the road to recovery. So, my friend, how can I help you?
thank you very much. First off, like my thoughts on this are a little scattered. It's the first week of breakup usually, and so if please don't hesitate to like stop me or ask some questions that could like direct the like whatever I'm saying in the right direction.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I met this guy like about 3 months ago on a dating app, and well, um, we hit it off really well. Like it was after a long while that I had not met anybody, like after a year of being single. So I really felt like I'm so ready um to like meet someone and all of that stuff. Everything was pretty well until and and also I wanted to say like that guy seemed to be really interested in me. Like everything about him like screamed that he is interested. So even like much more interested than I was really. So for example, he was like texting, calling every day. He really insisted us to like meet each other often, telling me, oh, but he misses me and all of that. He also talked about like stuff like marriage and kids very early on, to the point where it even made me a bit uncomfortable because I was like, okay, this is going pretty fast. But then I was like, all right, if there is a guy who just likes to take you seriously, why are you stepping back? I was talking to myself, kind of. So I just thought, okay, I'm very much I felt attracted to this guy. I was really physically attracted to this guy, even though I would like to mention that he was not, with global standards, he was not a very physically attractive person. And but you know what? I thought like I really like his sense of humor. I am attracted, so like, what's the problem? If his pace is like faster than me, I'll just go with it. So then I guess like the bond that I created with him, it was like very, very strong. Um, and like even though it was 3 months, usually when I tell people it's 3 months, they're like laughing at me as if like, oh, it's only 3 months doesn't mean anything. But we nearly met each other. We almost met each other every day, and like having FaceTime other days. Like it got um it got really like the progress of the relationship, even though it was for 3 months, I really envisioned the whole future. It was more than that, and I think like it was mostly from him because he was the one who was most of the times bringing on, very serious stuff and talking about future and all of that stuff. So I kind of followed along. Um, so yeah, I guess that's I'm trying to I try not to miss out important details about. So there were some slight red flags in this guy, which I actively ignored because I just thought that you know like it's not a huge deal. For example, he was he was a bit of a politically incorrect person, if you don't know what I'm saying, and
I hear you.
he was like on the right wing side. So, for example, he was telling things like, I don't even know, like he had this joke of like having multiple wives in the future, which is, I found it, to be honest, so stupid that I even didn't think of it seriously for a second. Also, so I was like a bit, I was worried about like his traditional point of view about everything. But again, it was nothing, it was not a huge deal for me. So, um, so then I went on a trip for 2 weeks. I was not here, and then the whole time he was like texting, calling, "Oh my God, I miss you," all of that stuff. And then when I came back, we hanged out like for 3 days at his place, and we had a really good time. At least that's what I got the vibe for. And we both were enjoying everything, and he told me how he missed me and everything. But then after that, then I went home, but I just felt like a change of energy in him. So even though like it was very out of character for him not to text me at all, I got home, he didn't text me for the whole day afterward. He didn't text me. And then I don't know, I just I didn't mind it that much. I just thought maybe we both need a little bit of a space. So, but then I came across his, I just randomly used to check like the dating app that we were on just for fun, really. I was not doing anything. So then I came across his profile and I saw some updates on there, which honestly might sound really ridiculous, but it made my heart sink when I saw that. And I told him about it. And sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional.
Okay, it's okay. Go on. I'm listening. I hear you. Take your time.
And, he just was very chill about it. When I told him about it, and he just took it as the whole thing as a joke. He told me that also I told him that, you know, the day before, the one important detail that I missed. When he was on his phone and he opened the phone, I saw 4 messages on another dating app that popped up on his phone. But then I tried to ignore it. I just I thought of it like as maybe it's really old and maybe he isn't really checking, because sometimes, you know, old notifications, they just stay there. So I just thought of it that way. But then the next day when I came across his profile and I saw those updates, then it got me really brokenhearted. And then he said that in a very chill way, he just said that, well, I should find my second girlfriend. And I was like, what is he even, he's not even taking me seriously when I'm asking him about this. And so then I was just very hysterical. I told him I feel like such a clown, which I really did. And then I expected him to like at least try and explain something. But ever since, I cannot believe that I didn't get any response, anything, and radio silence for the past 10 days. And like I can see like he installed like another social media app only for me, and I can see that he even didn't bother to like come and check that application, which just gives me the feeling that he's like not even thinking about me. And I guess the hardest part is that of all of these, it was so abrupt and it was so sudden, and I have a million of questions like why this happened. Like he gave me the vibes that he's exclusive with me. He was even acting like very possessive from time to time, which really made me feel like, all right, so then that means we're exclusive. And then him doing this all of a sudden, like in the span of the day, him getting cold that much, I just cannot understand. And I I like to ask him all of those questions, just what happened or what did I do wrong, and I feel like he doesn't deserve another message from me because he doesn't even bother to like explain a word or say anything to me. I feel so humiliated. And then all of these intrusive thoughts are in my head that, well, first, I know that most people say, oh, it's not your fault, it's the guy, but I just can't help but to like replay everything that we did and try to understand like where was it that I went wrong. Um and uh yeah, I guess that's about it. And I ask myself these questions that, like, this whole time, have I been reading all the signals wrong? I don't trust in myself and my feelings anymore, or my logic. And other than that, the emotional bond that I had with this guy, I think it's really hard to detach myself from that, especially like because sometimes in the day I'm like, oh, I'm good, like I didn't really lose anything, like he doesn't deserve all of that, and then I try to lift myself up, and then I'm good for a few hours, and then other hours I feel so lonely and desperate, and I feel like I'm thrown away, especially like because I went through a very bad breakup last year, and seriously, like, your videos was one of the ones that I was listening every night, and which helped me go through that. And then after a year, I felt like I'm ready. Like I'm building a connection with someone who has the same energy as me, who is interested in me, and who is like who has passion and everything. And then it ended like this without any I don't know. I don't even know if it ended or if he's gonna reach out. Honestly, like, I cannot stop checking my phone to like see if he would reach out. But then um since he doesn't every time, I guess in the mornings especially, it hits really hard because I ask myself, like, is he not really reaching out at all? Like, all of that, everything in that 3 months, it didn't even mean anything to him? Was I just delusional? Yeah, so I guess it took a really bad toll on my self-confidence, especially. And yeah, I guess that's about it. If you want to ask for more details, I would like to answer.
Sure. Okay. Okay, Mary. Thank you. Appreciate you sharing that, and I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through such a tough time. And I guess the first thing I want to try and validate you with, it doesn't matter if it was 3 months or 3 years, intensity is the intensity. That's okay. So anybody telling you, oh, it's only been 3 months, and I think most people might say that, then they are not you. They are not experiencing this from your viewpoint. So how can they understand? So I think they can pretty much go to hell, really, if anybody says that. And you can tell them that I said that. And if they want to talk to me about that, they can, and I will try to put them right. Because it's not a question of time. Time does not equal success, and it does not correlate to the intensity of your emotions. You feel how you feel. That's always okay. The hard part is healing, implementation, and that's what we're going to try and do today. So don't worry about that. Doesn't matter if it's 3 months, that's okay. So I want you to, even if you have to write that down, 3 months, 3 years, I feel how I feel. That's okay. So let's just put that one to bed straight away, and we'll get that done. Okay.
Yeah, but I know that in general, like, I am a sensitive person. I wouldn't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think, like, it's not like I have never been through this. I have never seen stuff like this before in my life. But this one was like, I really thought we built a connection, and I really thought he was into me, which is like, I guess that was the part where I just, I get suspicious of all of my senses, all of my common senses, basically. And
Okay. Okay. Describe that connection for me. And well, first of all, I want to understand what is your definition of connection when it comes to romance?
I guess my definition is not really that deep, to be honest. It's the fact that one thing which is very important for me is, well, very basic. We always can talk about stuff. Also, the sense of when sense of humor is aligned, that's also a big thing for me. So, for example, we are able to like, I don't know, to have a flow of conversation, which is at the same time fun. I don't find a lot of people who have like the same type of humor as mine. So that's also a big thing for me. Other than that, I guess in general, what we want from our lives, in the end, if that also aligns, I guess I would call that a connection too. And yeah, especially when like I feel the same energy with that person as I feel with mine. For example, I feel like he's as enthusiastic about, for example, seeing me as I am about seeing him, or as he's as enthusiastic as spending time with me as I am. So, which
Mm.
is all of these parts, all of these things were checked with this guy, and I thought after a while, like it was really good to experience it. Especially like from him, it was even stronger. Like I always want to say like the enthusiasm on his side was like, so he basically he was like a kid sometimes, like asking me to go out with him, and I couldn't, and I had to like tell him, all right, just wait another day and then we'll meet each other.
Okay. Do you think that is do you think that is a healthy trait?
No, I know it's not, but I don't know why I enjoyed that. It kind of validated me.
Oh,
Um,
there you go. Yeah, so you're absolutely right, and that validation can feel amazing, especially if you've been single for a while and if you had a really bad breakup from the
yeah,
previous relationship. So I think that might be worth exploring just a little bit, to explore what happened in your last relationship. Now, we don't have to get too much into that, and I know you're focused on this breakup, but I think sometimes, actually, a lot of the time, certainly comes up with a lot of my other clients when I'm doing a one-to-one with them, is that a lot of the answers can be found in previous breakups, why they're acting the way they acted in the most recent relationship. So if you're okay with it, we don't have to. If it's too much, we can pivot in a different direction. But how
well,
did your how did your last relationship end?
oh, it was very different than this one. So that person, we just, I guess, we for half of the relationship was kind of long distance. So I guess that played a part. He just started to lose feelings for me. And then one day when I was actually about to move into the same city with him, he just admitted to me that he doesn't have feelings for me anymore. But
Wow.
he was very he was very upfront and honest about it, the whole thing. And I think I got a better closure in that. Although it was really hurtful, but I had a better closure. Like I knew what was going on, and
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, that's how it ended. That guy
Okay.
was not really on the same energy level with me. Like I always felt like throughout the whole relationship that he's just not that interested in me.
Mm.
I just
That's really interesting. That's really interesting that you said that. So it would seem that maybe you've gone from one extreme to the other. You've gone from one guy that is low energy, and this new guy is very high energy. And
yeah.
then what can happen? We can mistake that for genuine connection, as you put it, because we always want what we kind of lack. You know, we seek what we don't have. And
Yeah.
if, for example, this last guy only had 20-30% energy, and this new guy comes along and he's even, let's say he's only got 40 or 50% energy, it's going to feel like the best feeling in the world because that's what you've been missing. And then what can happen? We can mistake that for genuine affection. We can mistake it for love. We can mistake it for, oh, we've got the spark, we've connected. So that's a possibility. Maybe we can examine that in a bit more detail in a bit. So
Yeah.
it seems
Just-
like to me so far. Yeah, sorry, carry on. Go for it. Tell me.
oh yeah, sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, it's okay. This is your coaching session. I want you to lead this as much as possible. So tell me, what was you going to say?
No, yeah, I was going to say that not only that, I also like have like other issues, like in general, I would like the other person to be very enthusiastic about me. It
Mm,
comes from like my childhood and from a bad relationship. Not bad, but not a very not the best relationship with my dad. So I know that I really enjoy it when, for example, the guys are like um they show enthusiasm like that. I take it as a positive sign. And then I ignore the
okay.
fact whether that's healthy or not, usually.
Okay, so but if we look at it, there are lots of other people in life that are super enthusiastic. Doesn't mean they've got your best interest at heart. Salesmen or
Yeah.
saleswomen, salespeople are very enthusiastic. They want to make a sale. Your your waiter or waitress at a restaurant typically super enthusiastic. Doesn't mean they're not spitting in your burger behind the counter.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So it's not really a
Also,
sign of loyalty, of commitment, of togetherness. So I think what you two had is very high chemistry and low compatibility. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, I could be wrong, but typically speaking, when I hear cases like this and there is exceptionally high chemistry, it normally means the compatibility is missing. So let's explore the compatibility part of this a little bit. Okay, so I asked you what you felt connection was, and what you described there was largely chemistry, a similar sense of humor, high energy, enthusiasm. That's chemistry. Okay, and that's great. We need chemistry. I'm not saying that we don't. But compatibility is okay, do we align in life with our values, our morals, our emotional maturity? Do we align in that area? So you said also at the start of this that you ignored a lot of the red flags. That so he was politically incorrect, right wing. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with being left wing or right wing, right? That's just your political value. Just like there's nothing wrong with being choosing a religion that doesn't align with yours, for example. Like you could be whatever religion you are, and you could be whatever religion he is. Doesn't
mhm.
make him a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. That's just your faith, your belief, and the same with politics. Now, how he expresses that politics, and it depends how extreme he is, that is going to be a compatibility factor. Because if you was right wing and you was quote unquote politically as politically incorrect as he is, then
Yeah.
you guys are compatible. So that's one thing. So and that's fine. It doesn't make him bad because he's on the right side of politics, right? As long as he's not causing death and destruction to people and he's not hurting people, all right, you can have his opinions just like anybody else. But if that does not align with your political values or your ideals of how the world should work, then that's an incompatibility. And also, you said he would joke about having several wives in the future. Now, given that he was on another dating app with four other messages on there, that I don't think that was a joke. Maybe not. Maybe he's being serious. But then where he's messed up, he should have been upfront with you at the start. Hey, look, I want more than one wife. Are you okay with that? Then you could have made the decision of saying, look, that's not my bag. That's not what I'm into. I'm stepping out. So again, compatibility. So you see where I'm going with this. So did you guys talk about what life looks like? Did you talk about your religious values, your political values? You know, how many kids would you potentially want? And
Oh yeah,
I
we
know you
talked about
guys,
that. Okay.
yeah. So, but did it align? Did your the way you view life, did it align with his in those key metrics?
Not 100%. I just want to quickly mention something about like that joke that he had like about multiple wives and
Mm,
stuff. Like he always specifically, whenever he was bringing it up, he was saying, "Oh, this is just a joke." And like as a few times I just told him like I don't really find it funny at all. And then sometimes he also said other jokes along the lines of the same thing, which
mm,
I found disgusting, to be
yeah,
honest. And I told him that. And then he was like, "Oh, you were hypersensitive. You were taking, of course I'm joking. How can you possibly take this seriously?" Because I'm like, there is a truth behind a repetitive joke. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
So
Can be. And here's the thing: he's also violating your boundaries. So you've asked him, "Hey, look, can you not say that joke? It hurts me." And he's saying, oh, well, I'm only joking. So he's not listening to understand, he's listening to respond. And I can tell you right now, if I kept using that joke with my girlfriend, she'd dump me right there because she'd be like, right, you're being a dick and you're violating my boundaries. I do not like this. So the reason I know that is because if I do say something, and same with her, if I say something that crosses her boundary, like quite, if it's just, quite innocently, and vice versa, if she says something that crosses my boundary, we tell each other right there and then, and that's it. It's never said again because it's having respect for your partner. It's having respect. And me and her have a we've both got a dirty sense of humor, but there are limits to where that sense of humor can go. You see? So not only I agree with you, I think there is maybe some truth behind a repetitive joke because it's like, well, as I say, there's no smoke without fire. Now, look, we could both be wrong. That is a possibility. Maybe he just doesn't. He's not reading the room correctly. He's not listening to his audience. Nonetheless, he kept violating your boundaries. So you have to ask yourself, okay, is this the kind of guy I actually want to be with who repeatedly violates my boundaries? Does that make sense?
I mean, I know that that might again sound stupid. Again, I didn't really like um I am an overthinker. So, for example, I think about stuff a lot. So, all of those things that he said, if I was 100% sure that he doesn't really mean it, then again, like that was not a huge deal for me because, but then I was thinking that maybe he's trying to send me a message, or maybe he's secretly enjoys this or wants this, so that's why he wants to test the waters and see like what I think about it, but he just doesn't dare to be very upfront about it. So that was the thing that was bothering
Mm.
me. But then I told myself like, how, like in this day and age, like having multiple girlfriends, like really, I don't know. But then
It's not
after,
okay. It's not if it. Okay, Mary. What I'll say to you here, if that does not align with your values of what a relationship should look like, then no, it's not okay. If that's what he wants to do, and that's his metric, and that's what he sees as what a relationship or multiple relationships is going to look like, then that's him. And that's okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that for him. Personally, I'm a one woman kind of guy, and most people are. But there are some people out there that want more than one partner at a time. They're polyamorous,
yeah, but they
or
should be
you know,
upfront about it, right?
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. But also, Mary, and this is what might trigger you a little bit. We also have a personal responsibility to ourselves to screen that out of someone. So, like me personally, now I'm not trying to get into a position of where, well, if this was me, if I was in your position, I would do this. I'm not in your position, so I can't say, oh, this is what I would do. But I'm just giving you an example. If that did happen to me, I would be asking that woman, hey, look, you keep bringing this up. Are you monogamous or you polyamorous? What's the deal here? And I'll keep pushing until I got the answer that I was satisfied with the answer. I'd keep prodding that because, look, we can all hold a mask up to our face for the first part of the dating period. Okay. and everyone's on their best behavior on the first couple of dates, and it feels amazing, and we get all this Disney bullshit feeling coming through. And we mistake that for, oh, we've just got such a great connection. And if we're basing a relationship on that, then it is doomed to fail. But because that mask, and we all wear a mask in some respects, that mask will slip eventually. And then that's when you're going to see that real person. Now, everyone's got, shall we say, red flags, but there's different severities of red flags. Okay. And I would argue also that a red flag is subjective, because what a red flag might be to you might not be a red flag to me. It's personal. Yeah. So, but I think some of the red flags that you have highlighted are quite universal for most people. So your responsibility would have been here is to write, okay, I need to screen more effectively. I need to ask more questions. I need to say, right, no, I'm not accepting this. So why? So I think to help you the best we can here is to identify, why did you sort of brush past these red flags? So the red flags that you identified, why didn't you question it more?
To be honest, I was not like, this was one of the rare cases that I was not really afraid of confronting or bringing them up. I genuinely thought that this is like, I genuinely thought that we are exclusive, and he's just like the type of a person who just wants to, you know how some of the some politically incorrect people are. Like, I met them before, and I just thought like he wants to say, oh, I'm really masculine, and I don't know. I genuinely didn't take it seriously that much, even though when the joke was brought up, I was just trying to like not to react to it so that we move to a different subject. I didn't even want to bother with that, because I really thought like there are more important things in life. I never thought that this joke would be a reality, which is actually what's happening.
Yeah.
And
So
this is why I'm like, yeah, blaming myself.
okay, I hear you. I get it. I hear you. Okay, so did you ever have the exclusivity conversation? Did you guys sit down and talk about saying, okay, look, we're together, we are exclusive to each other, we're working on a relationship? Did you have that conversation?
And not in that sense, but for example, again, I was going to ask you, like, if you see this as a sign. So for example, he told me like very directly, like, if you talk to other guys, I will leave you. He told me
Okay.
that. So also
red flag. So what if your boss is a guy? What if your brother is a guy?
no,
Your
I mean,
father
not in
is a
that
guy?
sense.
Huh?
No. He meant like if I'm like seeing other guys, maybe I
Right.
didn't word it properly.
Right. So okay. So did he specifically say, if you talk to another guy, or if you're interested in another guy? What did he say specifically?
The words, he was like, if you, I guess he meant like talking to other guys on the dating app, or talking to other guys for the purpose of meeting them and dating them. He said that, and then he said he would leave me. Also, like, I remember I wanted to move into a house where there were like two guys living with two girls, and then he said, I don't like it because there are two other guys in this house. So I guess I took all of those signs as things like, okay, like, we cannot not be exclusive if he says things like that.
Yeah. But the
And this is,
problem with, yeah, carry on. Sorry. Carry on, Mary.
and then like talking about like marriage and all of that stuff. So I thought, all right, so he's really serious about me. Like his stupid joke about like having multiple wives or anything don't mean anything.
Yeah.
He wants something serious with me.
Well, okay. So look, there's a really good saying that I like, and I'm quoting Mark Manson here, who I quote a lot. I seem to overly quote his books. Actions never lie, and words don't mean shit. So you have to ask yourself, what were and what are the truth of his actions? But the other thing here, Mary, is that I think you've made a lot of assumptions based on stuff that he said indirectly. So you're making assumptions based off, oh, well, he said he said this, so it must mean this, and he said that, so it must mean this. So I think, again, it comes down to compatibility, and communication would fall under compatibility. Can we discuss and have these awkward conversations and be on the same page with each other and find a compromise with each other? So it seems like these conversations were never had. They might have been had indirectly, and you may have made an assumption based on some kind of loose data that you saw in front of you, but these conversations were never had. Like, and I'll give you an example, and I'll just go back to my own relationship. My girlfriend and I, we had very specific conversations quite regularly. So, right, okay, no, this is what this means. We make sure that we understand the definition of each other's words. So, right, okay, so when you say this, you mean this, yes? Is that correct? We get clarification from each other. And if you're not getting that from your partner, or they're refusing to engage in that kind of brutal honesty and that brutal communication, then it's on very shaky ground. So does that make sense? What I've said there?
No, I understand what you're saying. I just, to be honest, I think I made some assumptions, and I also, like, by the energy, I was judging, like, oh, this guy is like even too serious about me, that I even want to avoid the serious conversations. Like, I kind of even wanted to slow it down, to be honest. So I don't know, like, since I usually, I don't know what to say, honestly, because I feel like everything that I'm saying
I
is
hear
like
you.
very not logical.
It's not
Um,
about it's not about logic. You can't out logic feelings, Mary. You felt how you felt. That's okay. It's okay. We've all been there. We've trust me. We've all been there. And look, I've been there many, many, many times. Many, many times. And it's only through several failed attempts at trying to communicate well and being okay with my personal boundaries is that is only when you become good at that. Say, no, I will not accept this from you. So we're not compatible. If we're not compatible, that's okay. It's not it's no, I'm not mad at you for us not being compatible. It's just this can't work because we're not compatible. But you must have these conversations. And so it seems to me that I think a lot of this could have been avoided like maybe in the first 2 to 4 weeks. You should have had these conversations rather than assuming. And you said like you wanted to put the brakes on it, and if you'd have put the brakes on, if you'd asserted some boundaries here, you may have found out before it got to where it was. Okay, I'm not compatible with this man, and I need to leave. Now, okay, I accept that maybe this is the first time you've had this experience, and maybe you haven't had the chance to develop these tools yet. So hopefully this is what you're going to get from the experience. It's like, okay, well, the next time I go on a date, or the next time I'm semi-serious about one, I'm going to have the hard conversations very early on. And I'm going to make sure that if I'm potentially going to spend the rest of my life with this man, I'm going to try and make sure that to the best of my ability that we are compatible. So you kind of have to forget about chemistry for a little bit. Okay, chemistry is good, and we need it, but I think people mistake chemistry for love, and they mistake it for genuine connection because it feels good, it feels amazing. Compatibility is the non-sexy part. It's asking those difficult questions, but I would argue that we need like 60-70% compatibility and maybe only 30-40% chemistry. But a lot of people are doing it the other way around these days, and they're trying to make a relationship work based on feel good chemistry. And we end up in situations like this. And Taylor, I've been there myself, totally been there myself. So now I say to people, look, you need to make dating uglier. And what I mean by that is that you have to have difficult conversations very early on. I'm not saying like the first, second, third, or fourth date, but if you start becoming intimate with each other, if you are intimate with each other and the relationship is progressing, then yeah, it's time to, okay, look, this is what I want from a relationship. Are we exclusive? Especially after you've had sex with someone, you've got to have that conversation. Okay, are we exclusive? Because I think for women, typically for them to get to the level where they're being intimate with a man, they have to feel emotionally safe. And if you start to feel emotionally safe around this man, you need to make damn sure that he's serious about you. So what do you think about that?
No, I totally agree, but I don't know why I had zero doubt that he's exclusive with me. I guess that's which is hurting me the most in the past 10 days.
Mm.
That I'm like, my mind is blank, and that
Do you
I don't.
do you think maybe that's what you wanted to see?
What I wanted to say?
Yeah,
Sorry.
do you think that you said you don't know why you couldn't see certain red flags or you ignored them? So do you think that is what you wanted to see? So you tricked yourself into ignoring it. So you saw what you wanted to see.
No, like those red flags. I mean, I never had any like any suspicions about us being exclusive. I had suspicions about us not being compatible like in the long run, but in him like being exclusive with me, I don't know why I never had any doubt. So I just thought I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'd like to know this guy more, which like he ended everything like this. And for now, I guess I'm very lost because I'm just honestly, my ego is like, I feel like my ego is crushed and like
Yeah,
he's hit on it.
absolutely. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and like I also feel like he made me feel always like I'm good, I'm enough. So then I don't know like what was wrong. So what was not enough that he just went on to explore other options, and he's just dumping me for that like in a day. So then
Oh,
I'm like, uh,
yeah, carry on.
yeah, I'm mostly this abrupt ending, I guess, is has made me really baffled, because I was even thinking to myself that, well, uh, I even if we don't have a future, I don't have a future together with this guy at this time, I don't mind, but I just have a lot of questions that I need answers for. And if he, like, I have these thoughts, like, if he didn't like me in the first place, why, for example, he would take a day off to hang out with me? He literally did that, and I could, and I have verification for that he did it. And like, why he would say all of those things to me if he's not serious about me? Why he would bring up serious stuff?
Okay. All right. So I'll go through that the best I can. So look, what someone says today, how someone feels today is no guarantee what they will say tomorrow or what they will feel tomorrow. So I have, well, I say I don't have much doubt. I'm reasonably sure that when he said these things at that time, he probably did mean it. Probably. Okay. Now, we don't know his traumas. We don't know his worldviews and stuff like that. Okay, so you always have to look at it. Okay, I challenge people to look at it this way quite often. If I was my ex, if I had that person's worldviews, if I had that person's trauma, if I had that person's experiences, I would have dumped me as well. Okay, because look, you're not in his head. Something didn't work for him. No. So what I'm saying here, Mary, it doesn't mean that you're not enough. It doesn't mean you're worthless. In fact, I think this man's done you a favor. I think he's done you a big favor. I think one, he's taught you exactly the lesson that you needed to learn here. And the lesson here is going to be, okay, I need to speak up. I need to assert my boundaries and enforce them. And I need to know what my non-negotiable boundaries are, okay, before I go ahead into another relationship. And I need to have these difficult conversations. So as much as that stings and as much as this hurts, when the fog starts clearing, you can start to say to yourself, you know what? This needed to happen because this will make me better. It will help me level up. I will be healthier. I will be able to attract a man that is more of my energy, more on my level, that can have these serious conversations with me without getting pissed off or being on other dating apps. So he's taught you exactly the lesson that you needed to learn here. And secondly, if I could make, if we could wave a magic wand right now, and let's just say your ex was on this conversation with you and I right now, and I said, okay, okay, Mary, ask all your questions, ask them all. I promise you this right now. You could have 1,000 questions for him, and he could answer those 1,000 questions truthfully. It still won't be enough for you, because your feeding brain, your limbic brain, is doing the mental gymnastics, and it's trying to find a path back to that person. Because as you say, it crushed your ego. And when something does that, when something crushes your ego, it crushes your identity. Your identity is linked to your emotional survival. And if someone fucks with your emotional survival, it can feel like you're going to die. So that's where all this confusion comes from. So it's okay to ask questions here, Mary. I just think you're asking the wrong questions. The questions I think you should be asking: why did I ignore these red flags? Why did I tolerate his bullshit behavior? When I saw his profile being updated, why didn't I leave? I should have called it. I should have left, because no one, like, I can tell you this. I can tell you this for right now. When I met my girlfriend on a dating app on Hinge, and now I'm not a big fan of dating apps. I've spoke out against dating apps, but someone, a good mentor of mine said, look, give it a try, do this X, Y, and Z, because I wasn't coming across the kind of woman I wanted to date, okay, in my circle of friends and family and stuff like that. So we have to expand that net, okay? And when my girlfriend and I became exclusive, the second we became exclusive, that app was gone. My profile was disabled, and the same with her. So, but first of all, we had the exclusivity conversation, and we had that after the first time we had sex. That's when you had that conversation, that's where you ask the questions, Mary. Not after the breakups happened. You must ask these questions right there and then. So it doesn't mean you're not enough. You are enough. You absolutely are enough.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not right for this person, and he's not right for you. And that's it. So if you had the opportunity right now to ask all of these questions to him, how will that change your current situation?
If I actually, I'm not sure, like, I kind of think like even like getting answers to those questions probably won't help me that much. But still, I guess yeah, because the purpose of I just want to get the answers that I want, probably that's the only thing that would make me feel better, not the real answers. Probably that would.
Okay, so what question? All right, what let's just play a little bit of role play here. Let's just go through some of those questions. Okay, so first question: what would be the first question you would want to ask your ex?
First one would be like, okay, when has he started doing all of this? How long has he been talking to others? Is he into me, or he finds other girls better than me? Like, or most importantly, this, was he only with me because like he had no other option?
Okay.
I guess this one is like the most important one. Yeah, which is going to be probably, if I hear yes, then probably I'll be destroyed. But
so why put yourself in a position potentially where you could feel even worse than you are now?
yeah, exactly. I guess there's no point in
Exactly.
asking.
So that's the thing, my friend. You're asking the wrong questions. Yeah, you're asking the wrong questions. You're trying to find answers to, I don't know, to get you back to where you last felt safe, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't even make sense. But sometimes look, we like to, I think what it really comes down to when we want to ask these types of questions, it's our way of not accepting reality. Okay. So we ask these questions to help us avoid the truth of the situation. And then that can help for a little bit because it keeps us from confronting the pain. It keeps us from looking in the mirror and not looking at someone that we don't like. Because when we go on these kind of journeys, the reason like a lot of people don't like going to therapy, the reason like a lot of people don't like doing these kind of sessions, is because they're scared of they're scared of who they might meet on the way. And I don't mean me, I mean themselves. They're scared of who they might meet. So, but asking those questions, trying to get some kind of weird toxic confirmation bias. It's like someone saying, am I pushy? Tell me, go on, tell me I'm pushy. Tell me. I dare you to tell me. No, I'm being by doing that, I'm being pushy. And then I'm trying to get you to confirm that confirmation bias. And it's like, oh, I knew it. I knew you thought that about me. I knew you thought I was pushy. Yeah. So in a weird way, it's like, well, it's not my fault. I'm projecting that onto you. I'm making you responsible for the answers. Yeah. And that's what you're trying to maybe make him responsible for the answers that you probably already know and don't want. So we're asking the wrong questions. The right questions now is, okay, how do I heal? How do I make sure this doesn't happen again? Why did I ignore the red flags? Is this linked to my relationship with my father? Because you mentioned that earlier. Those are the questions you should be asking. And those are the questions, they're much harder questions, but those are the questions that are going to push you forward. Those are the questions that are going to help you heal. Now, but here's a question for you. If he was to phone you up right now and says, I want you back, would you go back?
Oh, I thought about that scenario a lot. That I think at first I'm going to ask before I thought I'm going to ask my questions first and then I'm going to say no. And I'm going to be truthful right now. It's not because of my maturity. It's because I like to kind of take revenge and I want to make him feel really terrible. But also, it's not that I do also know that we are really not compatible, but 50% of that would be because I want to make him feel terrible because of losing me.
Why?
Be truthful.
Why? Why do you want to inflict pain on somebody else?
Oh, because I think he inflicted it on me, and I feel like he manipulated me, dragged me into a relationship only to dump me for exploring other options.
Okay, right. So now I'm really gonna challenge you on this now, and I'm gonna start pushing some buttons, and you're not gonna like this, so prepare yourself. But I say this with compassion, and I say this with the hope of this is gonna push you forward and get you to start asking the right question. Now, this is gonna piss a lot of people off listening to this, and I don't care. I don't care if it pisses you off. I don't care if it pisses 1,000 people off, but it's the truth. Now, here's the thing. It takes two people to get into a relationship. Yeah. So your part in this, your radical responsibility here is that this relationship couldn't happen without your permission. Yeah. You couldn't have had any kind of intimacy unless you said yes, unless you gave him permission to do so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So manipulation can only happen if all parties participate, the person trying to manipulate and the person being manipulated. So, and this is the triggering part. If you feel you was manipulated, then you've got a part to play in this. Now, I'm not taking his part away. If that's what he did, then he's a dickhead and he's a pile of shit and he needs to go away. Okay. All right. That's on him. Yeah. You're not responsible. You're not responsible for his part. That's on him. Okay. What you're responsible for was like, okay, why did I let this man in? Why was I attracted to such a man? Why was he attracted to me? And that's the thing, Mary. We are a reflection of who we date, of who we lay with. That's a reflection of us. So this is
Yeah.
where, when I say you're asking the wrong questions, shouldn't be asking. We shouldn't be trying to figure out our exes. We spend way too much time trying to understand somebody outside of our own craniums. You should be spending this time trying to understand you. That's where the power is. That's where your power is. That's where the magic happens. That's where the healing begins. So, okay, why? Why did I take this action? Why did I stay after this red flag? Why was I attracted? Why was I attracted to this man? Those are the real questions. And the fact that you want to get revenge on him so he feels some kind of way, that, my friend, is a lack of emotional maturity. And this is where
Yeah.
I'm going to try and help you develop the tools here. It's like, right, okay, if I want revenge on this, for every second of the day that you want revenge on him, that's a second. That's another second that you're giving him power over you. That's a second you're not working on yourself and you're not healing you. So I get that. I get that desire for revenge. I do get it. I really do. I really do get it. But look, the best revenge isn't to get revenge, it's to become better. So, okay, maybe one day he looks back and looks how amazing you're doing, and he regrets his decision. That's revenge. That's the like a healthier type of revenge. No, okay, I'm gonna go and do my thing, and I'm gonna become fucking amazing, and I'm gonna attract an amazing man. So, and I know that might be a little bit triggering and it's a little bit painful, and I get that. And it's not my intention to upset anybody, but hard, hard truths require radical action. We need to look at it and say, right, okay, what do I need to work on? So if you actually sat down and typed on your notes app on your phone or a piece of paper or a pen and paper and wrote down, okay, what does Mary need to work on? And you started writing these things down. Now, maybe it's 5 things, 10 things, 20 things, it doesn't matter. But if you started working on these things one by one and started ticking these off, and let's say it takes you, I don't know, 6 months, by the end of that 6 months, you're going to be such a different woman to who you are now. And then you'll look back and think, you know what, my friend? Don't even know why I was attracted to you. You're not even on my level. I don't want you anymore. But thank you. Thank you for teaching me everything I needed to know, because I didn't know this stuff now, and now I can move forward. So how do you feel about that? And it's okay, Mary, if you disagree with me, that's okay. You can say, Nick, I disagree with you, and I think this should happen.
No.
Tell me.
I actually totally agree, because I've been through a breakup and like I started working on myself, and even right now I set goals for myself. Like I want to do this, do that, the things that will, like, for example, make me advance in my career, the things that and like I am doing it, but like there are times of the day where you
Yeah,
just feel like, oh no, I can't do it. So sometimes I just
yeah,
go
of
through that.
course.
But other than that, I'm just picking myself up. And I'm
Mary,
really, I
yeah,
totally agree with you. Yeah.
but that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel shit right now. That's okay. You're meant to. That's what breakups do. They're savagely brutal. I get that. So what I'm going to encourage you to do when you do have moments like that, feel it. Just sit there and feel it. Cry if you scream, do whatever you got to do. Okay, just let it all out. That's the best thing to do. Is to let it come out. Because look, the pain isn't there to hurt you. The pain is actually there to guide you. It's actually there to help you, saying, hey, look, something's not right at the moment, and I need you to fix this. And the pain will go away once you've learned that lesson. That's when the pain will go away. The pain is there to say, right, okay, we need to adapt. We need to be better next time. But it's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel, wow, I didn't act in the way that I felt I was capable of. And that's fine. There's no shame in that. Doesn't make you any less of a woman. Doesn't mean you're not worthy or you're not good enough. Of course it does. It's just he's not right for you. So thank him for removing himself from your shortlist of potential candidates. You haven't got to worry about him anymore. And him saying no to you means you can say yes to everything else. That's the advantage you have. That's the power you have. And are you going to feel better overnight? No, it's going to suck. It's going to sting for a little bit, and that's okay. But that's part of being human, and we wouldn't know happiness unless we have pain in our lives. And so what I'm going to encourage you to do now is to choose your pain, because regardless, either way is going to be painful. If you choose to stay hooked up on this guy, stuck on him, that's going to be painful. It's going to be super painful. If you take him back, that will be even more painful because you'll do the same shit as before. I promise you that. But if you choose to work on yourself and you confront those demons and you look in the mirror and you say, okay, I don't like you staring back at me at the moment, but I'm going to take action and I'm going to start working on it. That is going to be super painful, super, super, super painful, because this version of you no longer works. So this version of you has to go away, has to die. So the new version of you, the better, more powerful, wiser, more emotionally capable version needs to be born, needs to come out. So I've just listed 3 types of pain there, and it's down to you which one you choose. Only one of them has a future. The other 2 don't. So it's down to you at the end of the day. But you must choose the pain that's going to ultimately get rid of your pain. And then when you get rid of that pain, you'll get other pains in life. You know, it's like, okay, well, I'll give you a good example that it used to be a case of when I started working when I was younger, it's like, damn, can I pay rent this month? And now it's a case of, I've got way more money than I did before. It's like, oh, okay, now I've got to pay a mortgage. Yeah. So there's 2 different types of pain. It's just a different type of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So choose your pain. Choose the one that's going to level you up. And I promise you, Mary, when you come out the other side, and you will come out the other side, you're going to be so much better. You'll be so much more powerful. You'll be happier. And you look back on this one day and you think, hey, thank you, ex-lover. Thank you, ex-boyfriend. Thank you for doing everything that you did, because you taught me well. And now I'm with such a much better man than you will ever be. Now, if he's doing this, and you said he's 33, if I remember correctly, you said he's 33.
Yeah.
If he's doing this at the age of 33, damn, he's a grown-ass, mature, well, quote-unquote, mature man. What the hell? That's the quality or lack thereof of the person that you chose to be with. And this is where it's going to trigger you, Mary, and I say this with love and compassion. It also reflects your quality. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm not saying that to you as a human being. I'm saying that to you when it comes to like emotional maturity in a romantic in a romantic context.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the weak spot. That's the sore point. That's where you've got to bring that up and make sure it matches the rest of your life. So what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I can't agree more actually to like every word you say. I think if I could just like unplug my emotions, like my reasons work pretty well. But
No, we can't do that though. If you unplug your emotions, you're not being a human being, are you? Your emotions are there to protect you. They are there to protect you. They are there to say, right, okay, this part of your life is okay. We're good over here, but this part needs a bit of work. It's a guide. Don't make your emotions your enemy. They're there to guide you. Make them your best friends. Learn how to use them correctly. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan, and I wouldn't say study, but I read a lot about Stoic philosophy. Now, Stoic philosophy is all about recognizing your emotions, but choosing to act in a way that's going to facilitate good change in you. So,
yeah, I also started digging into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's a great philosophy. A lot of people don't like it, but for me, I find it very empowering to say, I choose to respond I choose how to respond on my feelings. I have that choice. It gives me great power over my life. Now, Does that mean I get it right all the time? No. Does it mean I never get angry? Of course I get angry. And of course I get sad and I feel lonely sometimes. Absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes that doesn't always work. Sometimes we just, lash out in the incorrect way. But as long as we learn from that, so okay, why did I choose that action? Because everything's a choice. Everything's a choice. And I get this question almost every day. When will I get over my ex? And my answer is when you choose to. And people look at me like I'm some kind of crazy person. And when I was told that, I looked at that person like that was a crazy person, but it couldn't be any more true. It's when you choose to, and it's not saying it's not a case of, oh, when your feelings go away, your feelings are still going to be there. You're going to still feel, oh my God, I'm going for a breakup. But when you start to move on is when you choose to take action on that feeling in a different way. So, right, okay, I feel really down and sad and lonely. Okay. So the choice is, okay, I can either sit here and let that dominate my thought process and then my life, or I can get up and do something. And that can start with a walk, that can start with going to the gym, starting a new hobby, getting promoted, or whatever it might be. It can start with just reading a book. It can start with a coaching session like this. It can start with going to therapy. The fact is, what I'm saying is just make a small action to get you moving forward. You feel how you feel, and I want you to accept that. I want you to say every day, today I feel happy, I would accept that. Today I feel sad, I would accept that. I feel lonely today, I would accept that. I feel normal today, well, in the middle, I would accept that. It's okay. Making your emotions your best friend will help you master them. So I don't ever want you to switch those off, because then you won't have good relationships, friendships, or anything. If you shut down your emotions and you stop being vulnerable with people, that's when it all goes to shit. And that's when we have really bad relationships. It becomes worse. So it's a case of we have to walk into the pain, learn the lesson, embrace it, choose that pain, and say, right, okay, this is my path, and I'll do the best I can with what I have. And it's okay, Mary. You're doing fine. Doing okay.
So
You're
just
doing
one more
absolutely.
quick thing. I know like we
Go
are
for it.
already, the time is.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you just kind of approved my decision that I just stopped talking to him altogether, because some of my
Yeah.
friends, they told me, oh, if you need some clarity, just ask him to meet up and get clarity. And then I'm like, he didn't even bother to like send me a one-word text. And
Yeah.
then I don't
You've
know.
got all right. Okay, so friends give terrible advice, and you already have clarity. You've got your answer. You've got closure. He left. That's all the closure you need. There's no other answer. And this is the
Okay.
brutal truth of the situation. So you should always be asking yourself, in any situation in life, what is the truth of the situation? The truth is he did what he did. He said what he said. He left. Now, that's brutal. And the reason we say, oh, I need closure, that's because we're trying to influence events outside of our control. It's not really a thing. Not in
Yeah.
relationships. That the second someone initiates a breakup, that is the closure point right there. The reason they initiated the breakup is kind of irrelevant in a sense, because the end result is always the same. It's a breakup. So it doesn't matter how we got here. The fact is, the breakup happened. What I try and help people with is like, okay, look, what you're going through is shit. It's one of the worst feelings in the world. I hear you. I've been there several times, to the point it was so painful. I started a YouTube channel out of it, and I started helping people through it. It was that painful. So my response, my trauma response, you could argue, was quite traumatic, because it hurt me that badly. It's like, okay, how do I help other people through this? So you could argue that's quite a dramatic response. So yeah, I understand the pain. So now it's a case of, right, let's get through this now. Let's find a way to make this a little less painful. Let's find a way to use this pain in a productive way. And if we can shave a couple of months off the healing process, great. But it's not a case of rushing it. It's a case of healing correctly, not quickly, and learning the lesson. So yes, you did the absolute thing. And if you reach out to him now or anytime, you are saying to him that he can do what he wants and you will always be available to him.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I don't want to send that message to him at all.
no, absolutely. So look, I think from the start, and this is going to sound really, really bad, and I do apologize in advance. It seems from the start that maybe he had you as an option rather than the only choice. Now, if
Oh,
he's doing
sorry.
that, I think maybe he had you as an option, not the only choice. Yeah, so it's just an option. Yeah, and I know that's a triggering thing to say, but here's the thing, Mary. He's doing it to you. He's doing it to other women because that's him. It's a reflection of him. That's what he does. He did what he did. He said what he said. We're not in his head. Doesn't matter why. Doesn't matter what his traumas are. It's not for me to figure out. That's not for you to figure out. What we're trying to do now together collectively is to figure out Mary. Is to figure out, okay, why is Mary struggling? Why does Mary want all these answers, regardless of that it won't change the situation? It's a case of, okay, let's get Mary to ask different questions that are actually going to help Mary heal. So don't worry about what he's doing. That's done now. In 10 years, this won't even matter. I promise you that. So always ask yourself, is this going to matter in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Probably not. It won't mean anything. It will be a good point to say, right, wow, that's when things changed for me. That's when I really found myself and I grew up emotionally and I started finding better men because I started screening out dickheads like this. Yeah. So look, that's the nature of his beast. Yeah. That's the nature of his beast. Now look, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't get mad at a lion for being a lion. I don't get mad at a lion for hunting down its prey, choking it to death, and then eating it. That's what lions do. That's just the law of the jungle. Yeah. I'm not mad at the lion. Okay. Do I like watching it? No. Do I think it's sad? Yes, but that's what lions do. I'm not mad at a shark for being a shark. Yeah. I'm not mad at a rainstorm for being a rainstorm. It's there. If I get caught in a rainstorm, I can complain about it, or I can just accept that it's raining. All right, that sucks. And I can walk with my head up, with my head held high, and think, okay, I'm going to get wet today. Or if I see a storm and I can avoid it, I can avoid it. Don't get mad at the storm. So don't get mad at him. He is who he is. You are who you are. If you're getting mad at him, you're giving him your energy. You're giving him all this valuable resources that you could be spending on yourself. So that's the realignment here. That's the change in mindset of redirecting that energy back into you. Love yourself unconditionally and do not give that dickhead one more tear. Don't give him any more energy. If you're going to cry, cry because the changes that you're going through to heal yourself is painful. That's okay.
Mhm.
That's okay. Cry because this is going to be a difficult journey and you're trying to create a new you. And that takes a lot of time, effort, and it's painful. It's painful. And that's okay. Okay. So, Mary, before we wrap this up,
Yeah.
have you got everything? Did you get everything you needed from the conversation?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. You
Okay.
always like give great advice. Like from all, I watch all of your YouTube videos,
Oh,
and
thank you.
yeah, I mean it.
Mm.
And yeah, like it's very genuine, and that's why like I connect with it.
I appreciate that. I try to be honest, and I think that's the best way. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I think a lot of people will go to the X-Back channels first before they get to me, and when they realize that the X-Back stuff doesn't actually work, and that's when they start. Okay, let's level up. Let's get through it. So I appreciate your support, and hopefully I'm not as a as much as I'm not as evil or as much of a dickhead people think that I am. I try to, I know I give brutal advice, but it's from a place of, look, come on, we can do better here. We can fix this. We just need to redirect that energy and not live in a fantasy world. So look, Mary,
Exactly. I don't want to be deceived and
yeah,
into
yeah.